All right, we're back, Truth Seeker. It is Monday, September 23rd, 2019. Only 5 baseball games today. Start off with a little bit of review as per usual. So, we didn't do baseball yesterday, at least I didn't, but we can take a look at the scores. Yankees won 8-3, like 83, the 23rd prime. Blue Jays 23. Orioles picked up their typical weekend win. They usually win at least one on the weekend, the Orioles. Let's see, they stayed on 56 home losses by winning. Mariners is 56. Red Sox beat the Rays 7-4. Tampa Bay Rays 74, and they stayed on 74 losses in that game. White Sox Tigers, what jumps out here? White Sox stayed on 33 away wins by losing. Tigers 33. Tigers got their 46th win. Chicago 46. Michigan 46. Let's see. Mets and Reds. What could it be about that game? Off the top, I don't see anything that stands out on the surface. Might have been something with the pitchers there. Marlins and Nationals. Marlins beat the Nationals. And I guess the Marlins or the Nationals stayed on 85 wins. Miami Marlins 85. So that must have been the key variable there, staying on that 85. Giants beat the Braves 4-1. Braves is 41. They stayed on 39 away losses in Cumberland, Georgia. Cumberland's 39, and the Braves stayed on 50 home wins. San Francisco 50. So seeing a lot of numbers just on the surface that connect to teams popping out. Angels and Astros. Let's see here. It was 70 date numerology. The Angels stayed on 70 wins on the 70 date. Astros also equals 70. So that must have been the one right there. Pirates and Brewers. Brewers stayed on 70 losses on the 70 date. Not sure. Must have been probably something with the pitchers too in that one. The Royals and the Twins. Let's see. The Royals picked up their 100th loss on the day leaving 100 days left in the year. That's interesting. And I don't really see the symbolism in the other numbers for that one. Cardinals beat the Cubs 3-2. So the Cardinals won 4 straight there. They made the Cubs, because the Cubs were 6-0 at home before this series. They fell to 6-1. St. Louis Cardinals 61. Then they fell to 6-2, and then they fell to 6-3. Cubs 63, Wrigley Field 63, Cardinals 63, and then they just fell to 6-4. Or from the Cardinals' perspective, they became 4-6 in Chicago. Chicago's 46. So big losses for the Cubs, who are trying to make the playoffs. And the Rangers and the Athletics, 8-3. Let's see. 33 and 48. Those numbers have a mathematical relationship. Oh, Athletics got their 52nd home win. Texas Rangers 52. Big number with the Rangers a lot. So Texas Rangers 52, 52nd home win. And let's see. Diamondbacks, Padres. Padres stayed on 42 home losses by winning. Picked up the 70th win on the 70-date numerology. Arizona 42, Diamondbacks 42. So that makes sense. Dodgers got their 100th win on the day, leaving 100 days left in the year. Their ballpark equals 211, the 47th prime. You get a score of 4-7. And Rockies picked up their 89th loss. Colorado Rockies is 89. Los Angeles Dodgers is 89, so that makes sense too. And then Phillies and Indians 10-1. Philadelphia 101. Gonna take a real miracle for the Phillies to make the wild card at this point. They've dropped some games. And notice, again, the Indians could have got the 65th loss, that big Philadelphia number. We've now seen for the last month where Philadelphia, every time they have a chance to give an opponent the 65, which typically hits with Philadelphia, it's not happening. So, Indians got their 49th home win, that revelation number. But that score stands out, 10-1. So anyway, just looking on the surface, a lot of teams win and loss made sense just through the Gematria. A few teams picking up the 70 on the 70 date. And yesterday's date numerology, what was yesterday? 25, 43, 70. Come back and scan the 25s real quick too. So like the Yankees could have got their 25th home loss. They avoided that. No surprise. Orioles did get their 25th home win on the 25 date. And that makes sense because Mariners is 97, the 25th prime number. So a good team to get the 25th home win against on the 25 date. And let's see, just scanning. Were there any other teams that had a chance at a 25? Let's see. Okay, scanning again. Nationals stayed on the 43 away wins on the 43 date. Okay, so yeah, a lot of surface level riddles, and oftentimes that's the way it is. NFL, we had a good day, and if you took advantage of the information I put out Sunday night about that Cleveland 22, how 22 is the curse of Cleveland, if only we had known they were doing the Clay Matthews ceremony at halftime. But any of you who caught wind of that, I'm sure you took that to your advantage. Almost every single time a team does a halftime tribute to a former player, they lose the game. Not every time, but at a very high percentage they will lose. I would say it's at least 80% of the time. Home team will lose when they honor a former player at halftime. Yesterday, you saw the Bucks lose. Bucks had a big halftime lead and then lost after the ceremony. And then same with the Browns yesterday. And then, of course, the Browns was for Clay Matthews II. Clay Matthews III is on the Rams right now, who won last night. So to review yesterday's games, we liked the Bills to beat the Bengals. It was about them becoming 10-5 against Cincinnati all time. Cincinnati Bengals equals 105, so that was there. Cowboys looked good to go against the Dolphins. The question was, would they cover that 21.5-point spread? We pointed out it was the 22nd of the month. Dallas equals 22. It might make sense if one of the two teams covers the spread yesterday, what we said, because in the last 15 years, no team had covered a spread of 20 or more. So we said, if they split, it'll be 1-6, kind of like 16. 53 is the 16th prime. 53, that big football number. Vesica Pisces equals 53. The shape of the football. Last year in Super Bowl 53, 16 points. Caller?
Hey, Zach. How you doing today?
Doing well. How are you?
Fine. This Davon. Something with football I've been noticing, and it's been something going on with the NFC South. I noticed in the first 3 weeks, the first week, I know the Falcons lost the first week. The Saints won the second. I mean, they split. It's like both of those teams are like going back and forth each week for some odd reason, and that's weird.
Well, hold on. The Saints lost week 2, right? They lost to the Rams.
Yeah, and they lost. I think they lost to the Rams, and the Eagles. And the Falcons beat the Eagles. And I'm noticing a pattern that when one of the teams lose, the other one wins. Just like this week, the Falcons lost, the Saints won. And it happened 3 weeks in a row.
I see what you're saying. Those two teams are trading off each week through the first 3 weeks. Got it.
Yeah. And that's why I'm looking like, okay, do the Saints lose to the Cowboys this week? And then the Falcons turn around and end up beating the Titans. So I'm trying to figure out what's going on between those two exact teams.
Well, I've only just started looking at my notes, but my hunch already is that the Cowboys are going to win this week based on Dak's record. So I'm expecting I mean, I have to do more between now and then, but right now my initial thought is that, yeah, the Cowboys are going to beat the Saints this weekend.
Okay, because I don't know what is going on, but I think they're trying to keep one of those, because I know the NFC South. I mean, the NFC South has never had. I can't remember the last time they had two back-to-back division winners that won it 2 years back-to-back. They always trading off.
I'm just thinking what the parallels would be between that team. They both have Mercedes-Benz stadiums. They both have quarterbacks who've been in Super Bowls. You have to look at it more, but yeah, there might be. Oftentimes, there are patterns like that work out throughout the season. So you might have identified one through these first 3 weeks.
Okay, alrighty.
Yeah, good observation. Appreciate it, man. All right, take care. So anyway, we were thinking if one team was going to cover this weekend, it probably would be the Cowboys, because Dallas has that 22 connection. They needed 22 to cover. They ended up covering by 25 points on the 25 date numerology. Packers and Broncos, again, really liked Rodgers to get that 103rd regular season win. This week had a lot to do with 103. Broncos equals 103. That was looking too good. Same reason we had the Packers to win last week to set up this 103 ritual this week. Colts and Falcons. Pie failed me, and this became part of the 103 ritual this week by Matt Ryan losing. He stayed on 103 regular season wins. And in the notes, we did talk about how if the Colts won this week and next week, it would set them up perfectly for going into Kansas City. So I'm penciling the Colts in for a W next week. Pie doesn't burn you a lot, but I shouldn't have faded the 103 this week. The 103 was there going against Matt Ryan. Ravens and Chiefs. Chiefs, I fully expect the Chiefs to begin the year 7-0 in Denver, Colorado. So no surprises, they won their game. Lamar Jackson became 3-2 in Kansas City. Caller?
Hey, what's up, Zach?
What's up, man?
Just to that guy calling, if you kind of look at the Chargers, I'm talking Chargers Saints, and you've been looking at their schedule with these teams with Houston and the 1-1-2 connection, and then they played the Lions. We found a real interesting thing that happened. I was telling you last week about the kickers and all the connections, all those kickers and all the craziness that have been going on.
Uh-huh.
They announced on 3/26/2018, or should be 2019, that Phillip Rivers had his 9th child.
Right.
And one of the ways they announced it was they used a Lion King video, which is Rafiki holding up Simba.
Huh.
She's here, right? Anna Rivers.
Uh-huh.
Well, Rafiki, go do the Gematria on her 54 and all that stuff. And, of course, Simba is all kinds of connection with the numbers, right? But we found an interesting date on 2017. So the Simba symbology is one thing. On January 12th, 2017, Anthony Lynn, 54, was announced as the coach of the Chargers.
Huh.
The same day, they announced they were moving to Los Angeles.
Right.
In the same press conference.
That is interesting.
So we have this Simba, they tweeted out. Now, the interesting thing, go back to 3/26. I told you about the Rivers Manning draft and all that stuff.
That's the 85th day of the year, by the way. National Football League's 85.
Right, so what happened is Rivers and Manning were linked together with the draft with Roethlisberger, and you look what happened last week. You have Manning getting benched, Roethlisberger out for the season, Luck sitting out because that's part of it, but then the only person left standing was Rivers that week, by the way.
Right.
But the kicker in that trade was drafted by the Chargers, Nate Kading, right?
Okay.
And he's known for missing a big kick against the Patriots, a 54-yarder. Shocking. But also missing a key kick against the Jets, which ties into the Jim O'Brien, Doug Bryan, which I mentioned last week. He's born on 3/26.
Huh.
The same date as Anna Rivers. His 9th child.
Yeah, that's interesting.
And guess how many days it is from his birth date and her birth announcement to the Super Bowl?
That I don't know.
314 days.
Huh, perfect.
Right, so I'm really hard on the Chargers. And the only team left that I'm not sure about is the Packers. There's been so much there, but there will be a big 17-12 game in this playoffs, which would be Rivers against Brady. But maybe there's two of them. Maybe it's Rivers over Brady and Rivers over Rodgers.
I think if the Chargers are in the Super Bowl, it's because of Drew Brees. So.
Right, but maybe he doesn't get there though.
Yeah, the only way I see the Chargers in the Super Bowl is if Drew Brees is there. That's the way I feel about that. So.
All right. Okay. Well, that's but Rivers announced his 9th child on 314 days from the Super Bowl.
Right.
That's the same birth date as Nate Kading, and then of course you brought the kicker up last night. But I already said last week there was a link to these kickers in the Giants Super Bowl. If you don't remember the call,
mm-hmm.
I was, and that was the same stadium. It was Norwood, right? You mentioned in your video,
right?
But the guy who missed the kick for the Buccaneers, Matt equals 54. He, there's all kinds of connections, but he went to school at Utah. Utah equals 50. It's 50th NFL season. And what's interesting, he's wearing number 9. But the one interesting thing with that is that Nate Kading, when he played for the Chargers, he wore number 10. I'm guessing a tribute to Eli Manning. And then when he was traded or left the Chargers to go to the Dolphins, he wore number 9.
Okay. Huh.
So, and that's where the Super Bowl is.
Uh-huh.
So he went from 10 to 9, and this guy kicking for the Buccaneers wears number 9.
Huh. Yeah.
So they're basically, I think the schedule, if you look at the Chargers schedule, you have them winning 30-24, losing to the Lions, which the Lion King referenced, 10-13 was the score, like 1-1-3 and 1-1-2, which is all over Phillip Rivers.
Right.
Then they play the Texans 1-1-2 and lose, and now they go to Miami next week.
Yeah, and should improve to 2-2, like the day of the Super Bowl.
You can bet this every sprain in your body when they play on 11-7. When they play the Packers, the Packers are playing the Bears and the Packers the Chargers are playing the Bears back to back. You can guarantee that the Chargers will be 5-4 when it comes to that game.
Well, and the big narrative for the Chargers is to get Melvin Gordon back. So if he comes back by the numbers, that'll be another big clue.
But Austin Eckler has got numbers all over this thing. The backup running back.
Sure.
So he's there for a reason. But when they play the Packers, you can guarantee you that they will be 5-4 when they play the Packers. And their schedules line up
well,
perfectly
they should become 2-2 next week in Miami, which is hosting the Super Bowl on 2-2, and then they should beat Denver. Denver's 32, Broncos is 32. Then they got the Steelers at home, and if they split the game with the Steelers and the Titans, they'd be 4-3. So I fully expect them to be 4-3 after this Titans game because Titans is 43, so is Chargers, like football.
And then they'll play the Bears. So they're either going to be 5-3 or 4-4.
Yeah, Chicago's 35 and 44. Packers is 44. They could go into that Packers game 4-4. Packers is 44.
When they're done, they'll be 5-4, or they're going. Because one of the things is they'll be 5-4 when that game's over.
Yeah, maybe they beat the Packers wrong.
But so you don't think the Chargers could face the Packers with the double riddles?
Well, I mean, obviously they could. It's possible. It's just, to me, it's like, I mean, how do they not do a Drew Brees Chargers Super Bowl? So if Brees is going to be there, I would see that being the narrative with the Chargers rather than him facing Rodgers.
Well, I mean, there's going to be a big 7-12 game, and I think it was going to be Rivers Brady. I can bet on that. But the interesting is that guy being announced the coach the same day they were leaving, right?
Uh-huh.
You got Kading the same birthday as Anna Rivers. That's 314 days from the Super Bowl. You got the schedule. They're playing on 11-7, which leaves 54 days to the end of the year.
Uh-huh.
They're Chargers. That's 54 days also from Drew Brees' injury. So that's 108. How symmetrical that nicely that is, right?
Right.
And then if you look up Rafiki, who's holding up the baby in the movie, just look at her. Look at that gematria. Rafiki. 54, all those numbers. 4, 1, 4. I mean, it's lined up perfectly.
Right.
And I think he's taking his daughter to Miami for the Super Bowl.
Well, yeah, when probably all 9 of his
And that
kids.
goes back to Brees in 44 with his child.
Sure.
And then it goes back to that football game, Superchargers at 193, the 44th prime. That's the game between Tennessee and Purdue, 193 points, 44th prime. So it's so strongly on the Chargers, as far as I'm concerned. And of course, they're all this. But if you look at the whole cycle of it, right? You have Drew Brees, Archie Manning. They're connected, obviously. Then it's Peyton Manning. Then it's Eli Manning. Then it's Phillip Rivers. Then it's back to Drew Brees. And then you just sprinkle a little luck in there, right? Oliver and Andrew. I mean, the riddle just continues on and on, right?
Yeah.
So, but you're seeing a lot of Packers stuff, though, right? I haven't really looked hard at the Packers.
Sure. Just my thought about the Chargers, though, is them losing this weekend on the day leaving 100 days left in the year. No, that's something to think about. So,
right.
And they lost to the Texans. The Texans became the Chiefs in history, so could be foreshadowing of what happens in the playoffs.
Well, they've never been to the Super Bowl with him. He's got his 9th child. I mean, if they're going to face each other, you're basically saying it's going to be the Saints. Is what you're saying, right? But all these kicking misses, and just so you know that you don't notice that when the end of the Seahawks game was ridiculous. By the way, did you see that?
What happened at the end of the game?
Well, the end of the game, it didn't matter, and there was like penalty, and then last play penalty, and then they finally scored a touchdown. They didn't kick the extra point in the game. Well, they didn't even come out and kick it.
Because they're going for all the score tributes. 33.
33-27.
Yeah, right? And in 2014, my blog post was about the Beastquake in 33. So, and that whole game. Did you see the video I put out yesterday? What they did to the Seahawks fans?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it was amazing how perfect it was. It's like, God, how did they sync it up so perfect? Because as soon as they finished that clip, the play was like snap, and then the 33-yard run that ended with the fumble that went to the touchdown return that made the score 13-7 where they missed the extra point. It's just...
But it was a big kicking ritual yesterday because you had the missed extra point there. You had a missed extra point, and the Seahawks didn't even kick an extra point. You had the missed field goal with won the Giants the game, which links back to Rivers.
It was a tribute to Super Bowl 25.
Right, which I brought up last week because it was tied into it. So the kickers are a big part of this riddle, and of course the season started with a 58-yard kick, and last year it ended with the Saints and the 57-yard kick.
Right.
So the kickers are major riddles, but this Caden guy being born on the same day as Anna Rivers, with her being pushed up as the Lion King, she's here. The coronation of that being his 9th child. That's a pretty strong story. That's a pretty strong,
Sure. Yeah, it's an interesting narrative.
So, all right, man.
All right, appreciate it.
Later.
That's it. Yeah, the Chargers are definitely a team to consider. Them losing, though, on the day leaving 100 days left in the year has me thinking, probably not going to win the Super Bowl. Okay, so we're cruising through the games here. Raiders-Vikings, again, the Vikings' head-to-head record looked perfect. If they beat the Raiders, they were going to become 4-4 at home all-time by winning. Vikings 44, they became 6-9 versus the Raiders. Oakland Raiders 69, Gruden 69. And the only thing that surprised me about this game is at the end they had a chance to put up 38 points. I thought they were going to do it because Minnesota's 38 and so is Raiders. The Patriots beat the Jets. They didn't cover. We were on the right side of that. And 44 combined points. Week 3 equals 44. Tom Brady with 199 yards passing at the half, being the 199th draft pick, facing a Washington State quarterback who was the 199th pick. Caller?
Hey, what's up, Zach?
What's up, man?
Hey, so the game, the Giants game, good call. So at the last minute of that game, the announcer, I don't know, was one of the bloggers, they mentioned you couldn't script it any better. You couldn't script it any better twice.
Yeah.
And then go back to the Teddy Bridgewater, the Saints. They, actually the Dolphins, the Miami Dolphins, they offered him a contract for their starting job. And look what happened. He's starting, what a coincidence. Now he's the starting quarterback. And the Miami Dolphins offered him a contract to be their starting quarterback. And he turned it down.
Right.
So, and then back to the kickers. You figure the NFL, you got soccer, you got the rugby, you got the Canadian Football League. You can't find no decent kicker who can kick the ball straight up between the low field post.
Right. I know it.
So it's kind of duh. So and also that's a good call. So if you blindly do what you said about betting against a team that do the ceremony, there were 3 of them. There was a Clay Matthews, there was a Kiki the Barber, and there was also the Terrell Owens on the 49ers. But Terrell Owens wasn't playing by the book. He didn't even attend the ceremony for his Hall of Fame ceremony in Canton, Ohio. So I don't know about that. But at halftime, the game, Clay Matthews actually visited his father in the son in the Rams uniform to congratulate him.
Right.
But I'm figuring, he said, "Hey, thanks, Dad, for giving us this win." And said, "No problem, son." That's what I'm figuring, what he said.
Right.
But that's all I got.
All right. Great observations, Izzy. Thanks, man.
All right.
Take care.
Bye.
Okay, so Lions beat the Eagles. I thought the smart pick here was to take Lions to cover. They had a good shot to win. It was about them becoming 1-0-1 away in Philadelphia. Philadelphia, the land of 101. The Phillies lost 10-1 on this same day. So that happened. And then 2 other signs for the Lions win was that Peterson could stay on 30 regular season wins, Lions equals 30, and Wentz could stay on 24 regular season wins, Lions is 24 with the alphabetic order, 30 with the reverse alphabetic order. So that was the other clue there. Panthers at Cardinals. This game, I feel like they pulled the rug out from under us on this one. They went with the 58 combined points. So they still got their Black Panther tribute in there. Huey P. Newton equals 58. Remember, Cam Newton became the 58th quarterback to start in a Super Bowl. Did I not do the due diligence on this Allen guy? Hold on. Where is this game at? Caller?
Hey, what's up, Zach? I just want to say 2 things. One thing is good job this weekend. I guess I want to say 3 things. And then, second thing, I made a bunch of money on the 49ers. Me and you stand strong on it. Remember when we talked about me, you believed in the 50?
The 50, man. Well, it was like the ultimate 50 date as well. 50 date numerology plus 229, the 50th prime. So, yeah, I told you to stick with your gut, man.
And I did. And you know why? Remember I said, Zach, Pittsburgh, 125 days to the Super Bowl. You stayed on 125.
Right.
Yeah, and you know it's funny. You might have to say something. I saw people in the comment because they think me and you bump heads a lot. So they like, yeah, he picks money, don't know what he's talking about. And I saw guys in the comments. I was just laughing like, hey, I'm probably your best caller that calls in like with good instincts and stuff. But anyways, they went against it, and I knew it. It was the 50. They weren't gonna go over it. So, but the last instinct I was gonna say is I'm gonna make a future bet. I'm gonna give a free bet in for Super Bowl 55. It'll be the 101st Super Bowl. That's Philadelphia equals 101.
Are you talking about next season?
Yeah, you can make a Super Bowl bet for next season at the casinos.
Well, it won't be the 101st Super Bowl, but I suppose it'd be the 101st championship. So next.
No, I thought it'd be the 101st. This Super Bowl 100, right?
It's Super Bowl 54, 100th NFL season.
54, the 100th
season.
The 101 season, right?
Yeah, 101st season next year. Yeah, I'm with you.
Yeah, Philadelphia equals 101.
Yeah, that's a thought. That's possible. So, yeah.
Does Philadelphia got a 55 in it?
I don't think so. Yeah. No, but they do got that 101. Yeah, it's a thought. So.
Yeah, I know it's off subject. I know you're doing your Decode right now. It popped in my head, and I was just like, I'm playing that shit. Because I was just going through my stuff. I'm like, it'll be the 101st season next year. Philadelphia equals 101, just like the 7. Oh, man. I'm playing that. So, Yeah.
Did you end up? Who'd you go with that in that Saints Seahawks game?
No, I went with the Seahawks. I was wrong on one, but the thing was, stayed on 195 losses.
All right, I was hoping you ended up changing your mind there because we identified that Saints Seahawks game before the season even began, so the setup looked perfect.
No, you're right. No, I did great, man. I did perfect in college Saturday, so I had a good week. This is one of my best weeks so far,
That's
in
good.
a while. So
That's
I
good.
was happy, man. You miss some, man. Sometimes like you headstrong on some of your picks. I am too. Everybody is. So I don't know, but I knew Jimmy G was gonna win, man. I knew it.
Yeah, the 50 was strong
And
there.
I'm glad me and you was on the same page with that. I saw a lot of people in the chat that really liked the 49ers, but they didn't understand, like, come on, man. Just like he's going 12-2. Like, come on, they're not going to pass that up.
If you would have bet on every 103 game this week, you would have won on all but the 49er game. So.
Yep, and just like this week, 104. Week 4, 104. So that's big, too. Super Bowl 54 equals 104. So
Yeah, I'll have to watch that. All right.
Big. Yep, and that's all I want to say, though, man. But good job, man. We're doing good.
All right.
Getting better, so.
All right, appreciate it. Take care, man.
All right,
See you.
have a good day.
All right, so something I screwed up on with this Panthers game is I didn't put in the numbers for Allen, but honestly, just looking at it, the game was 198 days after his birthday, or his 199th day of his age. That's the 46th prime. His numbers, Kyle Allen, there's nothing that's really screaming out to me about his name in the game. He became 2-0 as a starter. But again, man, Panthers 101, Black Panther 111. It just seemed like it was so right for the Cardinals here. Like everything was there. So this game was a big disappointment, but I saw the 58 combined points, and it just made me grin. And I think Panthers alone is 38 as well. Yeah, Panthers is 38, so they won 38-20. And then they get the Black Panther tribute in there with the 58 points. Huey P. Newton, 58. Something tells me that was the second script. Part of me feels like they fucked us on that one because they didn't want us to have the practically perfect weekend. I mean, that riddle was really good, so I just don't know what to say about that. Giants and Bucks. Did you guys see what I showed about this game last night? What the ritual was with the wide right at the end? Super Bowl 25 was in Tampa Bay. Giants beat the Bills with a wide right field goal at the end. And credit to Dan Lucas who caught this, but this game was on a date with 25 and 70 numerology. We identified how those numbers synced up with the Giants. Giants won Super Bowl 25. The missed field goal was a 34-yard field goal, wide right. No good equals 70 and 34, the words they put up there after it's no good. 70 date numerology, 34-yard field goal. And then in Super Bowl 25, which was in that same stadium, Giants won with a wide right field goal, 20-19, 39 points, the big New York number. Look at the name of the kicker yesterday who missed the kick. Matt Gay, 39. And he's 25 years old, right? It was 191 days after his birthday, the 43rd prime on the 43 date numerology, football 43, the kicker, born on the 74th day of the year. And final score was 63 points. Bucks is 63, but even more importantly, Daniel Jones is 63. Daniel Jones, 63. They couldn't have scripted it any better. Caller?
Hey, what's up, Zach? This is Martin.
What's up, man?
Not much. So you were going over the which game was it again? I think it was the Carolina game, and you were trying to figure out the riddle for it. Well, I'm not gonna lie. Like on Sunday games, I've been doing really, really bad, only because I've been trying to, pick, underdogs and force the riddle when there's other riddles that are just really, really like out in your face. And I think Carolina was one of them. Like Ron Riviera, he could have got his 75th overall win against against Arizona, and Arizona Cardinals equals 75, I believe. So right there, I thought that.
I think you're right about that. Yeah, I think you're. Yeah, I was seeing how he could get that loss that sank up with Cardinals, but I think you are right about that 75. Yeah.
Yeah, and then the Colts game. I liked the Colts before the week started, but for some reason I didn't pick them like in my picks because you were on the Falcons, and I was like, he could be right, so I just ignored it. But what I saw with the Colts game was pretty simple. Like, I mean, it showed it on NFL.com. Like, if you looked at it, it said Falcons are 2-14 against Colts all time. Atlanta equals 15, and Colts equal 15. I was like, okay, that seems pretty simple to me.
Well, I pointed out there was a real good riddle for the Colts to win this game this week and next week to set them up for going into Kansas City. And it was just the pie thing. I didn't want to go against pie because it seems like anytime I go against pie, I get beat. But wasn't so this week. So.
Nah, you're right. And that's like I said, that's why I didn't pick the game. I was like, that pie riddle does usually hit more times than none, which is why I went against it. But same thing with the Vikings game. Like, if you take away John Gruden's playoff wins with the Raiders, which are 2, I believe. Let me double check. Yeah, he has 4 games with the Raiders in the playoffs. He's 2-2. Like Oakland equals 22. But he would have 30. He has 38 losses now, but he just got his 38th loss yesterday. And I think Minnesota equals 38, or the Vikings equal 38. One of the two.
I had him at 43-39 with the Raiders in the regular season and 45-41 including the playoffs before yesterday's game. So I think he became 43-40 and stayed on those 43 wins on the.
That's if you. Well, I mean, because aren't they? Don't you have to? They're not adding the playoff games, are they?
Well, again, I have him as 43-39 in the regular season and 45-41 including the playoffs with the Raiders. So I think he got his 40th loss yesterday with the Raiders.
Yeah, I mean, I'm looking at it right now. You're right. He did get his 40th loss with the Raiders. So I'm assuming that you're saying that the playoff games are already included, or they're not included. I'm not sure how it works on Football Reference.
Well, he got his 42nd loss, including the playoffs with the Raiders.
Okay. That makes sense. All right, so that was a little bit confusing. So I just had to make sure about that. But you did pretty well like yesterday. I mean, you were right on the Buffalo game and everything like that. I really thought the Green Bay Packers were going to lose. Like, that was one of my picks. The reason why is because, like, I think another caller mentioned it not too long ago too. Because all time the Packers were 7-6 against the Broncos. And if Broncos won, it would have been 86, and then.
But Green Bay's 77, and we already identified how huge 77 is with Green Bay.
And you're right, but I found this other stat when it was just like
Don't overthink it, Martin. Don't overthink it, man. We know that 103 is the number. He was going for his 103rd win versus the perfect team in the week that began on the day leaving 103 days left in the year. We knew 103 was going to be a monster this week.
Facts. And I mean, and that's my problem sometimes. I do overthink. I'm not gonna lie. I mean, that's one of the.
It is, Martin. Martin, here's what I'm gonna say about you. You do really great research and you dig up a lot of stuff, but even you take me off my picks a lot, and my picks end up being right. And I'm just like, man, he's just going too deep every week. Because if you go back to week 1, the picks I put out Friday night went 11-3. After I had the conversation, the live stream, I came off a bunch of those winning peaks, and I think I went 6-4 for the week. I went from 11-3 to 6-4 after doing the live stream. So. And this week I just didn't care what anyone said. I just stuck with my picks, and same thing. I think only got 3 wrong this week. So.
No, but like I said, I don't try to call in to take you off your picks.
I know you don't. No. That's not what I'm saying, Martin. Like I'm saying, I'm complimenting you. You do great work, but I just realized I think you overanalyze it, and you come off the riddle that's just right there, that's just staring you in the face. So that's just what I'm saying.
I mean, not to jump too far ahead, but do you think Eagles can become 2-2 against Packers this upcoming Thursday?
Absolutely, because Vince Lombardi began 3-1 as a coach. I talked about that in this week's live stream. I think you had to work this week, but I was saying I like the Packers coach to begin 3-0 just like Vince Lombardi, and then probably follow Lombardi's path and fall to 3-1 in week 4. Because are they really going to have him be greater than Lombardi? I mean, doesn't seem right.
No, you're right. And I was going to tell you the last thing, before I get off, you have to get ready for work. But the last thing I was going to say was the Chargers and Texans game. Did you figure out why the Chargers lost? Because I know why.
Well, there were a lot of things there for the Texans. Like I said, that game was really close, and I barely favored the Chargers because of the 1-3 thing, but the 22s hit all over the place. What was your reason for thinking that they lost?
Well, I remember, because when I got home from work and whatnot, I looked at your live stream, and you were talking about look for the 50s this week, right? So I So I noticed Texans got their 50th all-time away win this week. You know.
That's a great one.
Just to add more to that, you were talking about.
Wow, that's a great one too. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but like I said, you do great work, so it was hard to go against you on that one as well. So
man, I wish you'd called in with that. That probably would have, because that game was so close. If I would have known that stat about the 50, woo, yeah, that's a good one. That's a good one right there.
Yeah, but that's all I have really to say. But yeah, good stuff though this week. You've proven the haters wrong once again. And I'm glad that you're ignoring them, because they're going to talk regardless. That's all they can do is talk shit. So, not feeding them anything is just going to make them look stupid. They're going to be talking to themselves.
Well, they're already talking to themselves, and look how dumb their comments are. That guy that trolls all day, he's like, Zach has to brag about what he did in 2014. It's like, that's called a track record, dumbass. So.
Hey, I know, but yeah, you're right. They do look stupid. They talk shit about anybody. Anybody that shows any type of positivity with your work, they're going to try to make, bad out of it, saying that this stuff doesn't work, which is false, because clearly you've been picking games. And I see, there's so many riddles that come, in our face, and that sometimes we do get off of it more so myself than anything. You see it right now, though, the Texans in 50. So.
Yeah, that was huge, man. I wish I'd caught that. That reminds me, I need to comb M cubed every week. So, and that is all time. That includes regular season and playoffs. So, yep, I think that was the winning stat right there.
And one other, I'm not gonna keep jumping ahead till next week, but yeah.
Great riddles. It's just sometimes it's just like overanalyzing. But this was a great find right here. I bet you this is the reason the Texans won that game. Again, it was 50-8 numerology. It was 22/9, like 229, the 50th prime. So that makes perfect sense to get that 50th away win all time. And that game was razor tight. Caller?
Hey, what's up, Zach?
What's up, man?
The last call was talking about the Houston Chargers game.
Uh-huh.
You remember doing on your TRO show on Wednesday night, I told you about the flooding in Houston.
Right.
I actually wasn't connected to that game. I know it wasn't no Gematria numbers in it, but I just had a feeling Houston was going to win it because it was flooded in Houston.
That's true.
Plus the Houston Astros clinched the West yesterday, too. With 13 runs.
Yeah. Yep, that's a good point.
And they played the LA Angels, and the Angels is 13. LA is 13.
Right.
And plus the Texans was playing the Chargers in LA, so that's why I liked it. Houston.
Yeah, those are all great points.
Because I connected the Houston Astros and the Houston Texans together with the flooding going on they had in Houston. That's how I connected it.
Yeah, you were right on with that too. That was good analysis.
Yeah, I just wanted to make that point about the flooding in Houston and why the Houston Astros clinched yesterday and the Texans beat the Chargers yesterday.
Yeah, great point. Appreciate it, man. Thank you.
Okay.
All right, take care. Okay. So we were scanning all the games. I think we covered Lions and Eagles. Yeah, we did. Panthers and Cardinals. So Rivera got his 75th all-time win, in Arizona Cardinals is 75. I noticed I slept on the 75. I saw the 63. I overlooked the 75. That's about the only thing that the Cardinals had or the Panthers had going in that game. I still can't believe the Cardinals lost. That was the big shocker. So again, Giants, Bucks, the Daniel Jones show, the Super Bowl 25 tribute, wide right. That thing I talk about with fantasy players, like sometimes where the perfect alignment actually ends up, instead of being a great game, an injury. We saw that with Saquon Barkley. And I was thinking Barkley was going to have a good game because of the halftime ritual with the Barber brother. The Barber brothers played for the Bucks and Giants. The one that played for the Giants was a running back. It was 168 days after Rondé Barber's birthday. New York City 168. So, just goes to show how... And now the Bucks have a Barber on their team too, which makes me laugh. Anyway. So, Texans at Chargers. So, we just found out that the Texans got their 50th away win all time. Ooh, I wish I had caught that before the game. That would have tipped me. Because I was right, just barely on the Chargers with that one. Caller?
Hey, Zach, what's going on?
What's up, man?
Good call with that Giants game. At halftime, I noticed the Jones and the 81 and the 18, and I put a little bit on them on halftime to come back.
Nice, yeah, that's true. Jones is 18. They were down 18. Perfect.
Yeah. So, but one thing I noticed yesterday, real quickly, Tom Brady and Drew Brees came into the game tied for career passing touchdowns in the regular season all time. And Tom Brady threw his 523rd touchdown to which is a 99th prime,
right,
to Philip Dorsett, number 13, born raised in Miami, Florida.
And when you write out 13, it equals 99.
And yesterday was exactly 19 weeks to Philip Dorsett's birthday. He's got a January 5th birthday.
I was gonna say 19 weeks. Isn't that 133 days? Am I doing bad math?
Yep, 133 days, yep.
Isn't that the Super Bowl? Isn't it the
Super Bowl 133?
No, but isn't the Super Bowl 133 days after yesterday's game?
Oh, it might have been.
But the Super Bowl's on February 2nd.
February 2nd. Yeah, you're right. I'm sorry. That's what it was. I'm sorry. From yesterday to the Super Bowl. I'm sorry. It was 19 weeks and 133 days.
Okay, yeah, because I was like, wait a minute, that's the Super Bowl numbers.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Not to his birthday, to the Super Bowl.
So the guy who caught the touchdown, though, his birthday was January 5th?
January 5th, yeah. So from yesterday to his birthday was 105 days, 15 weeks.
Okay. It was also like pi, 3 months, 14 days, like pi, 3.14, and the word circle equals 50, and yesterday was the big 50 date. So.
Yeah. So I saw that, and I'm keeping track of this touchdown record throughout the season. But it was just funny that he threw the 99th, the prime touchdown yesterday to Dorsett. So, and then also that was Philip Dorsett's 9th career touchdown.
Huh.
So
perfect.
Just letting you know.
Yeah, great work, man. Great work. Yeah, another perfect ritual. All right, so I missed out on the winning stat here, and it was that the Texans could get the 50th away win all time on about as you couldn't get a more 50 date than yesterday. You had 50 date numerology, plus it was 22/9, 229 the 50th prime. It couldn't get any more 50, so definitely had to be the ritual. The Texans became 2-5 versus the Chargers on the 25 date numerology in Carson. I shouldn't have slept on that either. I shouldn't have slept on that one. But again, that's why I wrote down here. I mean, if you read what I wrote close call, but Chargers barely. So I was barely on the wrong side of that one. All right. Caller? Hello?
Hey, what's going on, Zach?
What's up, man?
Hey, that 50 came through, huh?
Yeah, and you were right on about the 229th win post-merger on 22/9. Yeah, great work.
Yeah, and it's 50 years since the merger, too.
Yeah, and you're right.
Yeah, I thought that extra 50 out there.
Yeah, indeed.
Hey, you had that one caller, he's talking about the Lion King. Aladdin came out this year as well, and Jimmy G, if you go to Sports Reference, one of his nicknames is Prince Aladdin.
Right.
And he was born 389 days after before the film came out in 92, and that's the 77th prime number. Jimmy Garoppolo, 77. And if you do his full name, it's 224 ordinal, and then yesterday's score was 20-24. And they had the 44 some, but the Aladdin this year came out on May 24th, the 144th day of the year. 44 sums to 144, I believe. But yeah, just gonna keep it short.
All right, great observations. Appreciate it.
Yeah. All
right, take care, man. See you.
Bye.
So yeah, like I said, it's really hard. What I wrote for this game and the thing is, I said the SF50 riddle looks like gold, but this week is the week of 103, so be careful. That's the way I felt about it, because it's just like, how do you doubt the 50 the way it all lines up? Hey, what's up, Dave?
Hey, what's going on, Zach?
What's up, man?
Hey, quick question. Keenan Allen had a great game yesterday, and I was trying to figure out what lined up for him to have a good game. If you could look into it.
Yeah, let's do it real quick. So Keelan, well, he's one of their star players, right? So, all right. So his birthday's April 27th. That's the 117th day of the year. Let's see how many days it was from his birthday. April 27th to the game was 148 days, or his 149th day of his age, which is the 35th prime. QB is 35, so maybe that's a sync with the QB because there's a distance in days that's got the QB connection. Here, let me run his name, see what we can see there. Keenan Alexander Allen. Let me just do his well, his full name's 79 the 22nd prime. The game was on the 22nd, so that could be part of it too. His name aligned with the day. And in terms of his player name, Keenan Allen, I don't see the magical connection to yesterday, but his full name fits in with the 22nd. And let me see, Keenan Allen stats. Let me see what he did for his numbers. What's up with that, right? LA 13, Houston 41, 13th prime. 2 touchdowns on the 22nd. And again, his name's 79, the 22nd prime. And man, 183 receiving yards. It's a lot of yards.
Yeah. Yeah, he killed.
Yeah. Oh, you know what else I could say about him? Allen equals 44 like week 3. Allen's 44, week 3's 44. So maybe that's part of it too. He's one of the top performers for week 3. Yeah.
So would that generally mean? Well, I guess would that generally mean he will have good games on week 3?
Well, he's going to have good games a lot of the time, right? Because he's one of the top receivers in the league. But I'm thinking because yesterday was the 22nd of the month and his name has that 79 connection, I'm thinking he probably does do well in week 3 generally. Yeah, that probably is true. But I'm thinking maybe on dates where there's 22 connections, maybe that's where he excels.
Okay.
Yeah, that would make sense to me.
Cool.
All right. Yeah, appreciate the call, man.
All right, thanks. And good job. Good job, yes.
Yeah, thank you. All right, take care.
All right. See you.
All right. Yeah, and I need to keep doing a good job, so. And honestly, I'm just going to say something real quick. Part of what I'm thinking about doing, you guys, is getting rid of the daily live stream and just spending more time focusing on doing the work. Because I realize when I focus on doing the work and put more time into it, I have better results. I do appreciate the callers and stuff, but a lot of times callers will take me off my initial thoughts. And years ago, when I used to do really well at this, I didn't talk to anybody else about anything. I just did it myself. So I realized a few things. If I wasn't doing these long live streams each day, I'd have more time to look at more games and do better research. And ultimately, I realize what people want is high percentage of winning picks. You know, the reality is we do better here. Even when we're not doing that great, we do better than the industry, period. Just look at these professional sites that advertise at expensive rates. This guy did 12-8 last week, beating the... It's like, wow, 12-8, that's pretty ho-hum. I mean, what's so impressive about 12-8? And they want you to pay all this money to sign up for that? Anyway, I just realized that if I have more time to do what I do, it'll probably be better, and I can cover more things. And I'm thinking about making like 2 weekly call-in shows. And then that way, people can call in with their best thoughts. But you guys are welcome to call back and give me some feedback on those thoughts. But I'm thinking maybe throughout the week, put out the notes, do quick videos with the picks I really like for the day, and just try to get a good small group of games each day, unless there's a day where a whole bunch of things line up. And then maybe just have a weekly call-in show or maybe 2 throughout the week. So run that by you, let you guys give me some feedback on that. All right, but moving through the games. So the 49ers 50 ritual did come through. Saints did beat the Seahawks. We identified this game before the season began. Didn't think they'd be doing it without Drew Brees. But again, the Saints becoming 4-4 in Seattle made too much sense. Seattle equals 44. Saints equals 44. Symbolic game. On the day leaving 100 days left in the year, the 100th NFL season. So... And again, they talked about the Beastquake, which was a game in the playoffs years ago when the Seahawks had the 7-9 record. They won the NFC West. They had home field advantage over the better Saints, and they won with the Beastquake. That was a 67-yard touchdown run, the 19th prime. Here we are in 2019. Seattle and Saints also equal 19. All sorts of rituals in this game yesterday, just rituals upon rituals. And even Russell Wilson getting his first rushing touchdown in a span of 666 days. 666, number of the beast. And then Rams and Browns, Sunday Night Football. Rams did win, and I put out the video Saturday night to have you watch the Cleveland Curse of 22 video that ESPN did last year, July 22nd, 2018, how 22 always defeats the city of Cleveland. So the Browns lose on the 22nd. And what we didn't know, at least I didn't know when we did the live stream Saturday night, was that the Browns were going to be honoring Clay Matthews II. But hey, if you went off what I said, almost any time a team honors somebody on the field at halftime, that team loses. Almost every time. I'd say it's a ratio of at least 80%, and that's a conservative estimate. It's probably significantly higher than 80%. But it's got to be at least 80 that a team honors a player at halftime and loses the game. And you saw what a ritual it was with the Giants being up 18. Jones equals 18 and 63. Bucks end up losing, and what the fans would call a heartbreaker. So all in all, it was an awesome week. There is still room for improvement. We can definitely do better. And we do have one more game left tonight. I'm sticking with my initial thoughts on that game. Let me get my notes up here. I saw somebody in the chat right away say, who's winning Monday Night Football? I'm like, are you trolling, man? I mean, you're signed up for the page. Why don't you go read the notes? Why don't you go read the notes? You could have found out why the live stream was waiting to fire up. I got the wrong thing up here. Monday Night Football. Just to go over what we're thinking again. So, perfect day for a game in Landover, Maryland. 71 date numerology. Landover, Maryland equals 71. And the Bears are a 4-point favorite here. On a 44 date numerology, Chicago does equal 44. If the Bears lose today, they will stay on 20 wins in the regular season versus the Redskins. 71's the 20th prime, so it makes sense to stay on 20. They can pick up their 23rd loss on the 23rd of the month. If the Bears lose, they'll fall to 12 and 15 versus the Redskins all time, plus a tie. So ignoring the tie, they'll be 12 and 15 all time. MNF is 12 and 15. And the biggest stat for me out of all the stats here is just right here. 77 in Washington, D.C. Hits all the time in sports. If you're new here, you probably don't know that. But if you follow me for any period of time, you know that when these 77 riddles come up with Washington, D.C., they hit. Very rarely do they not. And that's the thing. It's about the law of averages. So knowing that 77 always comes through with DC, I'd be a fool not to take it. So I'm assuming Trubisky falls to 7-7 away for the regular season and all time. DC's on the 77th meridian. They call it the American meridian. Very special number. Chicago is also divided into 77 neighborhoods. Chicago's the only other city that has the 77 connection play, so makes sense in that regard too. If Nagy loses tonight, he'll be 13-6 in the regular season. 13's the 6th prime. He's 13-6 all time right now. Gruden can also get his 36th regular season win. Bears equals 36. Chicago equals 46. If he won, he'd be 36-46. So his record would look like Chicago Bears. And also, today leaves 99 days left in the year. Redskins equals 99. When you write out 13 as a word, it equals 99. Trubisky could get his 13th regular season loss. We just heard the caller talk about Tom Brady's 523rd touchdown pass, the 99th prime, to number 13. The other year when Clemson beat Alabama in the championship, the first time they beat them, there were 99 offensive plays run by Clemson in that game. The winning touchdown was caught by number 13, Renfro, and even the name Renfro equals 99. So 13 and 99, another familiar pattern. And for those reasons, I like the Redskins tonight. They can get to 1-2 versus Chicago. Chicago's 37, the 12th prime. Chicago can fall to 1-2 themselves. So that is that. And something else I mean to be keeping track of this year is what the home team records are on the primetime. So week 1, Monday Night Football, we had 2 games. We liked the Saints to beat the Texans. They did. So home team became 1-0 there. And then the Raiders beat the Broncos. Derek Carr got his 33rd regular season win on MNF 33. And so both home teams won. And then last week, Monday Night Football. What was Monday Night Football last week? 2019 MNF schedule. Oh, yeah, the Browns at the Jets. And we liked the Browns a lot last week, too, because they were going to improve to Baker Mayfield was going to improve to 7-8. New York 78, Cleveland 78. So right now, home teams are 3-0 on Monday Night Football. 3-0. They could improve to 4-0 tonight. Hold on. Just make sure I'm not missing anything with that. Chicago's a 4-point favorite. Holmes got that 41 connection. Holmes also got the 23 connection. It's the 23rd of the month. All right, so if the Redskins... Or never mind. What am I talking about? The Jets were at home last week, so never mind. Home teams right now are 2-1. Home teams are 2-1. Jets lost at home last week. 2-1. If the Redskins won this week, home teams would be 3-1 going into that Steelers game. Steelers is 31. Just trying to think if there's any type of riddle they're doing. So that's something to think about, though. The primetime games and the home and away records, we've noticed things and patterns with that in the past. Home teams won week 1. They lost week 2. Week 3. Again, home's 41, the 13th prime. Home's also 13. So, yeah, anyway, I do like the Redskins tonight. Just trying to add another level of thinking to it. So let's leave it there. Let's talk about the baseball games today. Go through baseball real quick. And then wrap it up because I want to pound away at the Week 3 decode so that we can get the majority of the information up tonight. Come back and talk a little football as soon as possible so we got the week ahead to look at things. And I don't know about you, but I'm planning on dominating football for the rest of the season. So, and it gets easier because the weeks ahead, what happens is you start getting you get the team records. And a lot of times the team records show you what the ritual will be for what's going to happen with the next opponent coming in. You know, just like how this week we're able to say things like Lamar Jackson falling to 3-2 in Kansas City. You know, just more and more of that kind of stuff starts to line up as the season goes on. So, alrighty, baseball today. The Phillies, they're not quite eliminated yet. It's going to take an even bigger miracle. I got a lot of people calling me about the Phillies. You guys, I'm sorry about the Phillies. I don't know why they dropped the riddles all year that they did with Philadelphia. I mean, they're still not eliminated, but I mean, right now it feels like winning the lottery for the Phillies to make it. So, going to have to think more about that. Again, they ran the Phillies and Yankees riddles alongside each other all year. All I can say is ever since July 13th, we've said, oh my God, when they did that blackout, how it was synced with the World Series and how it was the anniversary of the 42-year blackout where the Yankees beat the Dodgers 4-2 in the World Series that year. The Yankees won 4-2 the day after that blackout. So the last time the Yankees and Phillies played in the World Series, the NLCS was the Dodgers and Phillies. If somehow that's where they've been going with all these riddles, so that's all I can say for right now. But the date numerology today, primary methods is 71, 44, 26. 71's the 20th prime. The lesser date numerology is 51. The day plus the month is 32. You got the Phillies at the Nationals. Phillies, it's Bryce Harper versus old team, and this is a 5-game series. What would make this, keep in mind Washington equals 50. the Phillies need to win all 5 games here to have a shot at the playoffs. They need to go 5-0 in Washington against Bryce Harper's old team. So perhaps we should look at Bryce Harper's birthday and how it lines up with this game. This would be one of the all-time greatest comebacks in sports history if it happened. So his birthday's October 16th. So his birthday's in 23 days. Now that's very interesting because 23 is the 9th prime. We're on the 23rd of the month. Baseball's a game of 9s. So let me just make a little note about that. He's going to turn how old? He's going to turn 27, that MLB number. This game is 23 days before Bryce Harper's birthday. On the 23rd. Okay, so the Nationals are 221 and 208 versus the Phillies. 2 more wins, they get to 223, right? We know Philadelphia's 223, big number with Philadelphia. The Nationals are 9 and 5 versus the Phillies this year. If they won, they'd be 10 and 5, and they could put Bryce Harper away by beating them today. I'm pretty sure if the Phillies lost today, they are eliminated. So Nationals could get to 10 and 5 versus the Phillies. Nationals 105, a number we see quite a bit with the Nationals. If the Nationals won, they would improve to 5 and 1 at home. And we do have the 51 date numerology as well. So the Nationals could improve to 5 and 1. Eflin, he's 9 and 12 for the season. Again, it is the 23rd of the month, the 9th prime. So he could stay on those 9 wins. And let's see. He's 3 and 2 versus the Nationals. Now we know how much 33 shows up with the Nationals. So if he lost, he'd fall to 3 and 3. But there is a rule with Nationals. It does have an S, so it's also 42. He could become 4 and 2. 3 and 3. 33 hits a lot more. Corbin, he's 69 and 61 for his career. If he won, he'd be 70 and 61, and Washington, D.C. equals 70 and 61. Caller?
Hey, Zach, I'm sorry to disturb you. You going to do the NFL tonight for next week?
Well, I'm going to get all the notes out tonight. I might pop on and do a live stream before the game, or I might save it for tomorrow. So it depends on how fast I get the decode done. If I get it done with plenty of time to spare before the game, I'll probably come on.
Okay, we all understand we got to go through, so whatever you do, man, I accept that, no problem, man.
Okay, sounds like you'd like me to come on tonight, though, if possible, so I'll make that the goal.
Okay, if you don't, leave notes, leave the notes. You got to learn.
Oh, I'll definitely leave the notes. If I don't come on, I will post the notes, no doubt about it. The notes will be posted tonight. That's a guarantee.
Okay, thank you very much. It helps a lot, man. Post the notes. It'll be okay.
Yeah, I'll get the notes out there for sure.
Thanks, Zach. No problem. Thanks.
Yeah.
Keep doing what we work on.
All right, we'll do. Take care. You're welcome. Bye. Okay, so again, things are not looking pretty here for the Phillies tonight. They're still a part of my brain that's still under the Phillies' influence. Like I said, I'm not going to count them out until they're statistically eliminated. We're almost there. But, yeah, just looking at the numbers, the only thing that could really go against Corbin is if he fell to 4 and 3 versus the Phillies, because Philadelphia Phillies is 191, the 43rd prime. But just looking at the riddles that are on the board, this could be the ritual with eliminating Bryce Harper against his old team 23 days from his birthday. 23 is the 9th prime, 9 represents completion. It would pretty much be the end of their season. The over-under's right at 9 in this game. Might be a lot of 9-run games today. Orioles at Blue Jays. Here's a game that has a promising chance at 9 runs. Blue Jays is 23, the 9th prime. You got the 23 date numerology. The over-under's at 10 here. So, in this game, the Blue Jays could stay on 44 home losses by winning. The Orioles could stay on 26 away wins by losing. So the date numerology, I wish it was picking up rather than staying, but it suggested that the Blue Jays can win. Buchholz, there's not a lot that really stands out about his stats. If he did win, though, he'd get his 39th win in the second half. Buchholz is the Blue Jays pitcher. Orioles is 39, number that shows up a lot with the Orioles. So, wonder if that could be the winning stat there. Not a whole lot else to go off of. This is going to be a 3-game series. The Blue Jays are currently on 93 losses. Orioles is 93. It's also 96. Do the Blue Jays sweep the series and stay on 93? Do they get swept and go to 96? Based on the numerology today, makes you think that they might not lose today. So I'd say things look a tiny bit better for the Blue Jays here. There's not a whole lot to go off of. You gotta go with the stay date numerology, and Buchholz getting his 39th win in the second half. Red Sox and Tampa Bay Rays. The Red Sox are on 74 losses. This is the last game of the series. Tampa Bay Rays is 74. Let me make this note too. Red Sox are on 74 losses. Tampa Bay Rays, 74. So are they going to go past it, or are they going to stay on it? Yesterday they won 7-4. When you look at Blake Snell, though, notice he's 6-7 on the season. Boston 77, Red Sox 77. Could improve to 7-7 for the season against the most perfect team to do it. The Rays, by losing yesterday, became 6-3 at home. Rays is 63, so that made a lot of sense. The problem with today's game is they're either going to improve to 7-3 or excuse me. If the Rays won today, they'd improve to 4-6. If they lost, they'd be 3-7 at home against Boston. So those numbers don't connect to either team. If they won overall, they'd be 12-7 on the year. Boston does okay. If the Rays won, they'd be 12-7 versus Boston for the year, kind of like 127, which is the 31st prime. Boston does have that 31 connection. 118's kind of been the number of the year as well. If they lost, they'd be 11-8. But if Snell wins, he's going to be 23-11 at home. He'd get his 23rd home win on the 23rd of the month. And if Snell did win, he'd improve to 6-3 versus the Red Sox. Again, Rays is 63. So looking at Snell, things look very good for Tampa Bay just through Snell. Snell, it looks great. The head-to-head record, there's not a great clue to go off of, in my opinion. This is kind of weak right here. My biggest concern is that since the Red Sox are already on 74 losses, maybe they stay there. You don't have the clue in the Rays' home and away record. Let me double check one thing in the standings to make sure I didn't skip something that I should have seen. The Rays are 40-30 versus the East. They could get their 31st loss. Boston has that 31 connection. Little abstract thought, if they got their 41st win, remember 41's the 13th prime. When you write out 13, it equals 99. Today leaves 99 days left in the year. So anyway, a little bit iffy game, but looking at Snell, I mean, his riddle's pretty strong for a win. So he's got the best riddle on the board, no doubt about it. It's just, part of me's going, but are the Red Sox going to fall off those 74 losses? And that reminds me of one other thing I should be looking at actually as well. Hold on. What kind of streaks are teams on right now? All right, so we don't have any big streak there with Tampa Bay or Boston. They've split the last two. And Cardinals are on a 5-game winning streak. Cubs are on a 6-game losing streak. Pirates have lost 9 straight. They're not playing today, though. Pirates might win their next game. Have to look at that. All right, but yeah, just Boston and Red Sox both 77, 23rd of the month, 23rd home win possibility, improving to 6-3 versus the Red Sox. Notice he's 5-3. Boston Red Sox is 53, right? So again, those are the things we look for. Okay, so I'd have to say the Snell riddle. If you got to go with this game, I'd take Snell. His numbers are the best clue there. Marlins, you got Caleb Smith visiting the Mets. Steven Mott's on the mound. And looks like somehow I forgot to do Mott's stats, so let's get the Mott's numbers up here. Whoops. Put his name in wrong. Mott's. Let me plug this in real quick. Mott's is 10-9 for season. Mott's is 30-35 for career. I see something there. Miami is 36. And Mott's, let's see the splits. Mott's is 14-15 at home. Mott's is 14-15 at home. He's 10-15 in the second half. And against the Marlins, he's 4-3 versus the Marlins. Now we have 44 date numerology, don't we? We got that 44 date numerology? Yes, we do. Okay. So the Mets can pick up their 44th home win today. So they do have the date numerology on their side as a team. That's there. The Mets are 238-210 versus the Mets at home all time. 23/9 is the date. 239th win. I mean, isn't that interesting that the Mets could get their 239th win on 23/9? And this is a 4-game series. The 4th game is going to be on a date with 47 numerology. 47. 211 is the 47th prime. So I was wondering if the Mets might win the first 3 games here and possibly lose that 4th game. Now, another thought is if the Mets win all 4, they'll get to 85 wins and Miami Marlins is 85. They could also get their 47th home win on the 47 date. So, let me put that note here. If Mets sweep, and remember, today has 23 date numerology, sweep equals 23, so these series could go in a sweep. If Mets sweep, they will get to 85 wins and 47 home wins on 47 date numerology. Miami Marlins equals 85. So that looks pretty promising right there. I mean, that would make a ton of sense. Each day they'd follow the date numerology, and they'd get to a symbolic win. And it would start off with this 239th win on 23/9. So, the one concern about potentially losing the 4th game is right here, but I kind of like the Mets riddle better. It's more direct, makes a lot of sense. The Mets can stay on 99 home losses as well today on the day, leaving 99 days left in the year. So, I mean, the way they've synced this game up is really interesting. I mean, look how perfect it is. And I've been having this thought about. I wish we were like ESPN and we had a staff of hundreds of people, because I was imagining what we could accomplish if we had a person assigned to each team for an entire year and all they did was focus on that team. Because imagine had we gone, this is what we need to do. This is the direction we need to go. Had we mapped out all the Marlins and Mets games for the entire year, we might have seen how this could line up perfectly with this exact outcome coming into this date. You know what I mean? The Mets going for their 239th win on 23/9, staying, you see what I'm saying? Staying on 99 losses at home versus the Marlins. Because it's just a perfect riddle. So, and we see these things come up throughout the year. It's just we're trying to track so much information. You know, one set of eyeballs can only do so much. But this is the direction we need to go. And that's why we have to build a team of people. If we have, people with computer engineering skills and helping us build better databases, we can start to really map things out super accurately, because this is what they're doing. So, anyway. Khalib Smith, if he loses today, he's going to get his 12th away loss. Mets equals 20. Mets equals 12 in the most pure cipher. And there are some things that are concerning here for Mott's, but I'm just going to fade it. There are a few red flags here for Mott's, but I'm just thinking this head-to-head record and where the series is likely going has to be the riddle. So I'm going to pretend that I didn't see that Mott's could get his 36th career loss and Miami's 36, and I'm going to pretend that I didn't see he can become 4-4 versus the Marlins. Maybe he gets a no decision today. So, and that might be something to think about as well. If the Mets get in a hole early, they come back, or maybe they don't get in a hole at all, because it's just I'm having trouble seeing this not come through. All right, Cardinals at Diamondbacks. Wainwright's next away win is 74. His next away loss is 49. All right, so the D-backs have a losing record against the Cardinals. They're 58-91. They're 31-43 at home. We got the 44 date numerology. They could pick up their 44th loss on this 44 date. The Diamondbacks are 1-2 versus the Cardinals in 2019, but this is the first game in Arizona. It's going to be a 3-game series. So what makes sense by the end? If they lost each game, they'd fall to 1-5. St. Louis is 47, the 15th prime. Each loss would follow the date numerology if it went that way. Let's see. The tricky thing with Wainwright is that he's 9-5 versus Arizona. I hate when this scenario comes up because Diamondbacks is 96, but Arizona's 105. The whole Kyler Murray draft thing was a big 105 ritual for the Cardinals. Wainwright is 3-2 at Arizona. Now, we know 42 shows up a lot with the Diamondbacks. Arizona's 42, Diamondbacks is 42. So you can make the argument either way in his total record, but at Arizona, he makes a bit more sense with a W, in my opinion. And as for Young, Arizona Diamondbacks are a funny team, man, because they're the team that these scenarios come up with. He could improve to 8-4. Arizona's 84, but he could fall to 7-5, and Diamondbacks is 75. So, if Young did lose, he'd fall to 2-3 at home on the 23rd of the month. And what, did I not finish what I was writing here? What happened? I must have got a phone call or something. All right, let's see. Alex Young, what did I skip here? Or maybe that's what happened. I was assuming he had a record against the Cardinals and he didn't, so I just stopped. So yeah, the date numerology goes against the Diamondbacks. Wainwright, you could make an argument either way, but the argument looks a little bit stronger with a win just because of how much 42 shows up with Arizona. And then Young, you can make an argument either way. But in light of it being the 23rd of the month and the possibility of falling 2-3 at home, it's probably where that's at as well. So I have to say I'm leaning Cardinals in that one. Leaning Mets in this one. The Red Sox and Tampa Bay, got to go with the Snell riddle. I mean, it's too perfect for the Red Sox. But remember, do the Red Sox stay on those 74 losses? They won 7-4 yesterday. Big number down there in Tampa Bay Rays. Tampa Bay Rays 74. And then Orioles and Blue Jays. Date numerology is favorable to the Blue Jays. If Buchholz wins, he gets his 39th win in the second half. Orioles 39, not a whole lot to go off of. I just saw one thing to consider. 193 44th prime, 44 date numerology. The Blue Jays are on 193 wins versus Baltimore right now. And make sure I'm not missing anything. If the Blue Jays only won 1 out of 3, they would be 3-6 at home versus Baltimore. That Toronto 36 shows up a lot. Caller?
Sure. Oh, how you doing, Zach?
Doing well. How are you?
I'm good, man. I was just calling to let you know that I love what you're doing, man. I'm calling out of Houston, Texas. I used to be in the industry myself. Lived in Hollywood 6 years, and I just want to say that I think you not to chastise you at all, but I just feel like not to be weak or anything, or say you should be scared of this type of stuff, this knowledge that you're preaching, but you got to realize, just like I did, because, I was looked at a point in time sort of like what you were doing as far as throwing up red flags, being a whistleblower to an extent based on what's going on in our country. But what we got to realize is we're already on their playing board. You know, if this is the monopoly board that they created, this phone we're talking on, the internet we use, all of these different things, that's something that we got to keep in mind when we're moving forward.
Right.
So my message that I want to tell you, and I'm not judging at all because you're a grown man, you can do what you want. I support you on what you're doing. I'm a fan. You know, you encourage me honestly. And but what I want to say is that I think that you should work on, you know, being exactly who you are and being the change you want to see, more so than saying, hey, let's stop this machine. You know, just like I know that there's more stupid people than there are smart people. There are more people who choose not to be resistant towards this stuff because, you know, ignorance is bliss. A lot of people like their Monday Night Football. They like to go to the movies and be indoctrinated. And, you know, there's not too much we can do about that. And again, I'm not saying stop the good fight at all. But I'm saying that, when I see your page get shut down and I see, you know, trolls are trying to get to you every day and stuff like that, it's just that we have to play as smart as they are. Just like they're watching us and they're observing and applying and changing their game as they go, we have to do the same thing with our game. And that's why I fell back. You know, when I first started my truth seeking is when and I'm gonna end after this, but when I first started on my mission, you know, it was watching Saved by the Bell. And I realized Saved by the Bell was like a Nazi psyops for, like, you know, indoctrination. You look at Slater, what is a Mexican? Works on a roof, a Slater. You look at Screech, the Germans hated Jews. Yeah. Screech is clearly a Jew. They dressed him like a clown the whole show. Look at Kelly Kapowski with the KKK. Zach Morris, blonde-eyed, blonde hair, blue-eyed guy. You know, the top guy of the show. You know, it's German indoctrination all through the show, you know, and when I got this information, I went and told everybody on my Twitter feed, and, you know, it's just like I heard you talking about the other day, you know, your family turns on you, your friends turn on you, all these people just turn on you, and it's like, I got over that too, because you realize they're not supposed to come.
Sure. Yeah, I hear you, man. I know you're right on about all this stuff, so appreciate the message. Oh, I think his call dropped. Call, are you there? Hello? Yeah, I don't know what happened. Your call dropped, but I do appreciate you calling in and saying all that. And I know you're right, so. But I'm just going to keep on keeping on until I can't anymore. I mean, that's the plan here, so. All right. So, again, going to post this. I did a little bit different today. I did it as a blog post just so you can see the lines and stuff. There was only 5 games today. I don't know why there's so few games today, but there is. So, anyway, those are my leans on today's games. Be something if the Mets snuck into the playoffs. It would be something else. So, anyway, I think we can leave it there. I'm going to post these notes. And then I'm going to, as soon as I finish here, I'm going to get to grinding on the NFL Week 4 decode. And I'm going to have those notes out tonight. If I see anything, if I hear anything that makes me change my mind on Monday Night Football, I'll be sure to put out that information. But right now, I like my Monday Night Football pick for all the reasons stated. So, and if I do get the decode done with plenty of time before the game, which is possible, I'll come on and we can start to talk about Week 4 if you guys want. So if not, we'll definitely do that tomorrow. So, and yeah, let me know tomorrow what you guys think about what I said about doing less live streams and just putting out more content and having maybe 1 or 2 call-in shows a week. If you guys don't like that, let me know too, because getting around here, it is a democracy, so I'm going to do based on what you guys give me for feedback. We'll leave it there. Oh, let me say hello to the chat first. Let's see. For the person who said what was the point of his call, I think he was just trying to say, like, yeah, we're doing the right thing, but there's a lot of people out here who discourage and don't care about the truth. And I think he was just responding to all the criticism he sees and trolling and stuff, and he was just trying to be encouraging, but just coming from his own point of view. And his call dropped, so we didn't get to finish his final thoughts, but I'm sure he'll call back. But that's what I took from his call, so. All right, you guys. Oh, hold on. We got another caller. Caller?
Zach, man, my bad. I'm a truck driver. I'm out here in the middle of Illinois. My call failed.
That's
my
okay.
call dropped. But
Yeah.
I'm gonna be quick, man. Like I said, man, I'm a fan. I used to live in Seattle myself, for the Seattle area, Kent, Auburn. You know, I stayed out there about 4 years myself, but I'm originally from Houston, Texas, born and raised. And you know, I travel now through trucking, and that's what I do full time. And I'm always on the road. But like I said, man, I listen to your videos every day. You're a great guy, man. We can't lose you to this bullshit. We need people like you who are doing the due diligence, who understand, who can see through this shit. We need people like you to survive and be here for the, you know, for the end game. You know, so all I'm saying is, you know, let's figure out a way where we can protect you better. You know what I'm saying? And maybe what I'm saying is find out a more, you know, precise way to filter out this information, because, you know, I love what you're doing. You're basically like the Truth ESPN. That's what I watch you. Every time I wake up in the morning, I go look for your videos, and it's just like, you know, Truth Seeker ESPN. That's why I love what you're doing. And, you know, I would love to be of service to you as well. You know, I have a little history in broadcasting journalism myself, and, you know, just, you know, I know about all this stuff just like you do. I'm an avid fan of numerology, you know, etymology, all of that stuff. I study all of that stuff as well. So I definitely see the same things you see, and that's why I follow your work, because it's a good way for me to cross-reference my own perspective. But like I said, Zach, man, I'm 35 as well. I think you're around 35, I believe. But I'm 35, and, you know, like I said, man, I'm a fan, man, and we need you out here, bro. We can't have you fall because some peons, you know, don't want you telling the truth and putting the truth out there like you're doing. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not saying stop at all, bro. I'm not saying be scared and nothing like that, because we know you're not scared. We know you built for it. That's not even something you got to prove. But all I'm saying is like, we already on their game board. We already on their game board. We already players in the game. So with that said, the best thing that we can do for ourselves is self-preserve ourselves and make sure that we here for the end game. And, you know, that's all I want to say to you, Zach, man. I wish you the best. I wish your family the best, man. And, yeah, one more question, Zach. Is there any way that maybe you can indulge a little bit about the Hurricane Imelda that's going on in Houston?
Yes.
Because
So
I
Imelda,
believe it has something to do.
Yeah, I can.
I'm sorry.
Tropical Storm Imelda equals 179, and it formed on 17/9. And it also has the 223 connection, like flash flooding, which it caused. So I need to look at it more, how it syncs up with the sports, and see if they're going to do something similar to what they did with the 113th World Series and whatnot. Because, yeah, there might be something deeper to it, but it's definitely a storm and flooding by the numbers.
Do you think it could have anything to do with Trump and the bridge? Because I don't know if you've ever seen those videos online that talk about how all the coasts are going to get flooded out, basically. Like the third coast is going to get flooded out. The west coast, the San Andreas fault line is going to crack, and that's going to get flooded out. And basically they're going to have to move people more inward land.
Sure.
So do you think that can have something to do with it, to kind of break our ties with all of the Mexicans coming in from, you know, Houston, Laredo? They're coming in from that area, so maybe to flood it out, kind of slow that down a bit, or keep us in more so.
Well, I'll look at that. I'll look at it from that angle. Yeah, I'll do some more work on Imelda, because there's definitely something going there. So I'll get some information on that the next time I come on.
Yeah, man. Like I said, Zach, man, big fan, brother, and be safe out there. Like I said, man, and best wishes to you, and definitely we'll hear from you soon, man.
All right, appreciate that, man. Thanks.
Thanks a lot, Zach.
All right, take care. All right. I see Martin says to look into the halftime show. When we're getting close to the point of year where they announce the halftime show. So, and it's always a perfect ritual, and it's usually a big insight. So Sierra, she's with Russell Wilson, right? Martin says, I think it might be Sierra. From her birthday to the Super Bowl is 100 days. Well, man, wouldn't that be perfect? And when you write out 100, it equals 54, like Russell Wilson's 54. Sierra Princess Harris equals 100. Well, that makes a lot of sense, Martin. That's great work. Even if she's not the headliner, she could very well be part of the show. So that makes a lot of sense. Okay. All right, so I'm going to post the MLB notes. I'm going to get to work on the NFL Week 4 decode. And then, if I finish in time, we can do a football discussion tonight. If not, we'll save it for tomorrow night. But just a few games today. So, good luck on those. And hopefully you had a great weekend. And be back tomorrow at the latest, regular morning time, or possibly tonight. So, appreciate all of you. And until next time.